In February of 2012, I had the fortunate opportunity to make my first visit to Africa, actually to Malawi, known as the warm heart of Africa. It was great to catch a glimpse of some of the helpful projects that Canada and Bermuda Territorial are involved in Malawi. This ranges from HIV, AIDS projects to school feeding programs and even to the art of beekeeping. It's amazing how these projects affect a whole village when you are able to make resources available to these wonderful people. My biggest surprise during the 7 days in Malawi would have to focus on the children. First of all, the large numbers of children who always gathered around us, and the later discovery that many of those children are vulnerable in different ways, but particularly from the perspective that the family unit had been affected mostly by HIV, therefore parents were missing. Over the 7 days and seeing thousands of children, I never saw a child with a toy. And that for me lingers as I reflect upon their faces. I think one of the days when my personal heart was moved the most was when we visited an HIV/AIDS patient who perhaps by now, months later, is already passed on. But we were invited into her bedroom, we met her children, and we understood the provisions that were made for her. But as a victim of AIDS, and who was too late for the antiviral drugs, I was not doing well. And it was a very sad moment, and I found that very challenging. We take a lot of things for granted in Canada and Bermuda. Interestingly, in Malawi, people live out of the subsistence that's available within the day. There's no provision for tomorrow. That comes when tomorrow comes. So things like clean water and food supply, and even the sense of tomorrow as something that you need to be doing is lost to them. They live in the day in which they are living, and that's a very challenging reality. So it's a day-to-day existence for Malawian people. I think the impact that the visit to Malawi has had upon me is about my increased awareness of the world's need. Malawi is known as the warm heart of Africa because it's settled right in the middle of Africa around this beautiful lake, and there's something about it that's tremendously glorious and even tourist type of a place. But there's a darkness about Africa as well, and that is that there's still great need, there's still great poverty, there are children at risk, there are people dying of AIDS, and I don't think now, having been there, I could ever minimize my responsibility to do something about that as far as I am able. As I speak to you today, I'm very free in my heart in asking you for your continued support of projects that we are able to do around the world. There is an accountability for your money. There is follow through. There are people on the ground who are making certain that with your generous support, we are making the difference that's required. Sometimes this is in the life of a family. Sometimes it transforms a whole village into having a sustainable reality. That, I believe, is your part and my part in meeting the world's need. Thank you for your support in that way.